Yeah, my wife took my truck today, which had my AirPods attached to the keys. So now I have to run this like a crazy person. Oh, you know what? I have these old school wired headphones. They actually fit pretty good. So today I learned that these old school air headphones fit into my ear way easier. Zara. Okay, guys. Um, First of all, before we get started, just so you know, this is the normal group call that we've been doing. We're just renaming it to get more people to participate because the truth of the matter is, it is still a finish strong Friday. It is still a group coaching call. It is still going to be best practices and things that you need to learn. But I want to be able to open it up to as many people as we can. So that's why we renamed it. It's the same structure. So first, what I want to do is open it up. Are there any questions or issues that we should address as a group that we could work on?
I don't have any at the moment. I texted you all of my questions yesterday, so thank you for answering.
Okay, good. I was like, I answered, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. And this has actually come up a few times. The question is the questions that pop up when it comes to leases. Leases are quite different from transactions in that very rarely will you have a seller sell their own house. 99% of the time, they'll end up hiring a professional, an agent, and they have somebody do it for them. When it comes to leases, it is a far larger percentage of people that lease out their own house. So they'll go on Zillow rentals, they'll go on Craigslist, they'll go on hot pads, like you name it. They will use about 4 or 5 different platforms to lease out their property. Now, what that means is it's not on the MLS. So if you ever have a client that sends you a Zillow rentals that says it's leased out by the owner, there's no agent attached to it, or you can cross reference it with the MLS and it's not on the MLS, you kind of have to assume that they're not going to cooperate with an agent. You can definitely call and find out, absolutely. But usually the reason why, it's in here. Usually the reason why these people are putting it on Zillow themselves is because they don't want to spend the money on an agent. So here are your options. First of all, if you're going to be showing the property to your client, you do need to have a certain form signed. What form would that be? This little mini pop quiz. Ding, ding, ding. Correct. Steven said a TRBC, which is it's the equivalent of the buyer representation agreement. It's a tenant representation agreement. So here's where it gets tricky. When they sign the representation agreement, whether it's the BRBC or the TRBC, they have to put in compensation. So they need to already agree that they will be compensating you for your work. So, what happens if they sign a TRBC with you, they find a property that is not on the MLS, and that landlord is not paying a compensation? What happens, guys?
They have to compensate you then.
They get to compensate you. It's an opportunity for them to pay you. Now, yes, that is correct.
Opportunity. I was like, oh, so it's optional.
No, they have the privilege to pay you for your services.
Okay.
Yeah, basically, it's the same conversation that you have with the buyer. Because for a lot of buyers, it's, well, what if I can't? What if I can't afford to pay you? Like I'm signing this agreement to pay you 2.5%. That's $25,000. Like, I don't want to pay you that. You reassure them. You say, well, here are a few options that can happen. Option one is we do find a property where they're willing to pay. Option two is we would have you pay me, correct? Option three is we can go back to the drawing board and we can adjust this representation agreement if need be. So it's no different than with a person renting. They're not a renter yet, they're your client. It's no different. You would say, well, they're not paying a compensation. We talked about this already. If they're not paying my compensation, we are going to need you to pay my compensation. And if they say, well, I can't afford to pay you, we'll go back to the drawing board. Do we need to adjust this representation agreement? Maybe you lower that. I mean, the possibilities are endless, but just know that the more scripting and more educating you do on the front end, the less issues you'll have on the back end. So if you are one of those shy agents that did not want to discuss what the representation agreement means and what happens if the seller can't pay or the seller won't pay or the seller pays partially, if you didn't talk about those things, yeah, now it's a tough conversation. Like now it's okay, so we didn't discuss this, but let me go ahead and lay it on you here. You're going to have to pay me. This is how much you're going to have to pay me. Cover that in the front. Cover that on the front end of things, okay? So yeah, that's a real scenario that happened. It's happening constantly, and unfortunately, when you work with somebody and they're going to be a renter, it's more likely that they are going to be pursuing properties that are not cooperating with you. It's just it's just the nature of rentals right now. What else we got? Yeah, no problem. Anything else, guys? Anything else? I am going to show you guys something in a little bit. Let me just open it up.
Steven and I went to an open house last weekend and we got a few leads because they didn't have agents. So we, reached out to them and said, "Hey, we're happy to represent you, in your journey for home buying." And we have not heard back. There were about three people. And so now, like, we've reached out to them this week, put them on a like, and we have, what information do we have? We have their phone number and their name.
Okay.
So we've reached out to see if we could get an email, have not gotten that. I think Steven got one of them, one of their emails, so he could probably put them on a monthly neighborhood nurture. But how do you, like, first, like, when you meet someone and you're just kind of stuck now, it's like, okay, I reached out to them. What other methods do you think that would be helpful in the next few weeks with these leads? Because we know that, buyers be buyers. I know. Because like they were so interested. They're like, yeah, like that's great. Like we would love that. We don't have an agent. And then it's like, okay, now there's like crickets chirping.
Mm-hmm.
So like what do you do that you're not, I don't want to come across as aggressive, but and also not like a pushy car salesman selling used, like, I don't know, used cars on the side of the road or something. But like, how do you do it? And then, like, obviously the monthly neighborhood nurture for the one that we did have the email address for. But like, that's where I'm stuck now, because like this is how you lead generate. And it's like, okay, I got a lead now. I just need to generate that into a listing or like a sale of some sort. But yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna do a few things here. First, we are going to um, let me get rid of this guy. There we go. So first, we are going to break this question up into some pieces because there was a lot of parts to that question. All of them are good though. So you met this person at an open house that you were sitting.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so you met them when? Last week.
Last Saturday.
Okay. So when we meet somebody for the first time in the real estate context, open house, door knocking, you name it, um, what smart plan or what marketing strategy should we use? And I'll give you some options. We have monthly neighborhood nurture, we have 36 touch, we have 8 by 8. We have 12 direct mailers. We have, I think that's all we'll say, home anniversary and birthdays. Which of those would you best implement in this scenario?
I would do definitely a neighborhood nurture, monthly neighborhood nurture, considering I know what neighborhood they're looking in. And then
Mhm.
I would, yeah, what Steven said, 8 by 8.
Okay, so yeah, I would say the monthly neighborhood nurture is just kind of an automatic for everybody.
Okay.
But the 8 by 8 is exactly what this is. This scenario is exactly perfect for an 8 by 8. And here's why. We know that it may take 7 to 11 outreaches for somebody to actually respond, which means you could very well go through an entire 8 by 8 with this person and they'll still barely remember who you are. So having said that, now the question is, okay, well, how do we tastefully keep in touch with this person every single week for 8 weeks in a row? It might seem daunting, but if you really think about it, you should only be on your second touch with this person today. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. But
Okay.
see, so like that's where, like everyone's like, oh, 8 by 8. We talked about this in our meetings on Tuesdays, but then it's like actually implementing the 8 by 8. Now
Mhm.
it's getting tricky. It's like, okay, well, they mentioned this now. I am
Yeah.
to like get the ball rolling and make sure I do it correctly.
Right, right. So a few things. You can only go by what you have. You don't have their address, you don't have their email address, correct?
Yeah, no email.
So all you have is their phone.
Yeah.
So, what are the things that we can use with the phone number? Obviously, we can call them. That's one touch or one way of touching. What's another way?
Texting,
Texting. Okay, so that's two. What's another way?
leaving, I mean, what Marianne said the other day, making a voice message or like making a video and sending it to them.
Video message, absolutely. And I'm gonna add on to one of these. You said texting.
Yeah.
Now we want to. Why do we want their email? So we can send them kind of like links, right? Like, look at this property. Look at this
Yeah.
property.
Yeah.
You can treat texting exactly the same. So in other words, if you were to, and I know this is some extra steps, but if you had a Google Drive of just maybe an about you, maybe some reviews with that shareable links, you could text those things to people and they can click on them just like they would click an email.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so yeah, it takes some creativity. In a perfect world, they gave you their phone number, their email, their address, their blood type, their favorite color, all that good stuff. But you only get what you get. And honestly, a cell phone's a good start. I usually am working with just the name and the email, and then I don't know if they're ever going to respond to me. But a phone number is great because you can call, video, voicemail, um, text links, which is kind of like an email. And I'll just kind of give you an example of what you can do. So one of them, the first one is always done because you already met them, right? So just sending a text following up, it was great meeting you, blah, blah, blah. That's one touch. The second one could be sending them any type of listing again through a text message. So let's say you go on the MLS and you find a property that you think is a good fit for somebody, you can share that through a text. Okay.
Oh,
Now that would
okay.
be
And you don't have to have a BRBC to do that. That's why, like, I'm like, oh, I when you share a listing, I thought, okay, like since I'd be representing them, I need to have a BRBC. So, but you don't technically need to have that then.
the BRBC states specifically that just sending people a list or properties does not count as representation.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Um, and by the way, I typed this into Chat GPT to say like, give me some ideas. And by the way, it's in context. So I said, let me share the screen actually. Share desktop. So I said, I need help running an 8 by 8 per the MREA models. So that gives it context, right? I'm not just going to say 8 by 8, doesn't know what that means. I need help running an 8 by 8 per the um, per the MREA models. What are 8 touches? Now, I may not like these, but it's going to get my wheels turning. So number one is personal introduction. You already did that one. Um, Second one would be social proof, sending them a just listed, just sold, something on social media. You can text that to them. Okay. Value piece. Now, this one's going to get a little bit more tricky, and this is where I'll kind of help you through this. So, we're going to send them a value piece for a local market update. Don't overthink that. We'll get to that. Week 4, call to connect. Probably going to be a voicemail. Week 5, if you have a testimonial from a past client or a case study or anything, you could text them, or I would maybe send a video message for week 5. Week 6, educational content. So, 5 mistakes to avoid when buying a home, how to sell or buy at the same time. Again, this is something you would love to email, but if you do not have their email address, texting them the link to these things is totally fine. Week 7, that could be a text message. Week 8, another call. So it's tasteful. It's tasteful what you're sending them. Not to mention, if you put them on a monthly neighborhood nurture, you don't have their email address, but if you did put them on something, you would that would be overlaying all this. But let's go to the value piece because I think a lot of people get stuck. Oops. I think a lot of people get stuck because they're like, well, I don't know what a value piece is, and I don't know what educational content would be. And it's not that they don't know it, it's just they don't have the bandwidth to do all these value pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, I met this person at um what city was this open house in?
Arcadia. Arcadia.
Okay. So I'm going to go to realist, not realist, sorry. I'm going to go to Realtors Property Resource. We've talked about this one before. Um, do I need to sign in again? Oh, no, we don't. Okay, so I'm going to go to research and I'm going to go to residential market trends. By the way, you can do this in any number of ways, but this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to go to Arcadia. Come on, Arcadia, California. And was this a single family home?
Yes, it was a townhome.
Okay, so it wasn't single family. So it was a condo.
It was
So I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah, like those, yeah, in a gated community. Yeah, those are
okay.
townhomes. Yeah.
So I would go again, there's no wrong way to do this. You can do I'm going to show you everything that's live-inable. So single family homes, condos, townhomes and apartments, or if I want to be hyper specific to them, I'm going to say condos and townhouses apply to all charts in Arcadia. So now we are getting hyper specific to this person and what they're looking for. And there's a few different things that I could do here. I can say I just want this image. So I'm just going to share this as an image, as a PNG. I'm going to save this to my desktop. And then if I'm not sure what to say, I'm going to say, okay, you know what? Create a script for me. And I want this to be for a buyer. Let's see, is there anything more specific? Investors, move up buyers, first time. Yeah, we'll stick with buyers. And I want this to be engaging, conversational, friendly, casual. I'll stick with professional. Um, what would you like to do? Create a video script? No. Social campaign? Maybe. Let's try analyze the metrics. Give me something here. So it's going to give me a script. Way too long. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go here, copy it. I'm going to go back into ChatGPT and I'm going to say make this much shorter for my client. Okay, and then let's say their name was Deborah. The Deborah today's market is competitive. Inventory is low at just under 3 months, meaning homes are selling fast, typically around 29 days. I can just do that. I'm going to copy and text. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to drop it into a text along with my image that I generated, which is right there. And I'm just going to send that to them. And that's my one touch for the week. So let me see. Oh, where did it go? So here. Is that it? No. Let's screenshot. Mhm. I'm going to drop this here. And I'm going to text our very own Zara.
Thanks. That helps a lot.
There you go. And then I'm going to drop this in there as well. There you go. So that would be my touch. Okay. And that's all I'm going to say. Now, I don't even know, I don't even understand fully what I sent them. I didn't do the analysis myself because I'm trying to just pump these out. Because let's say you meet 6 people at an open house and you put all of them on an 8x8, you can't afford to sit at a computer for hours and cook up these things. Okay? So I'm trying to teach you guys how to get your touches personalized to them. If they were if I met them in Glendora, I would not send them an Arcadia report, okay? But I don't want that to get in the way of us doing the 8x8 because there are some things in the 8x8 that need to be valuable. I think a lot of people think, well, the 8x8 is I'm going to call them 8 times in 8 weeks every week. That is not what you should do. I think that might become a little harassing, to be honest. Now, if they got a phone call from you and then they got a video message, and then they got a text with a market update for condos in Arcadia, and then they got maybe a link to top 5 things to do before you purchase a condo, and then they got another phone call from you. It's layered. It's not the same exact thing. So that's what I would encourage you to do is do the 8x8, figure out how you're going to run it. Everyone's going to be different. I'm not really I'm not as big on calling as much, but I love sending video messages. So for me, my 8x8 is probably going to have 2 touches be video messages. And then probably a third and a fourth one would be a market update. And then the other 4 might be phone calls, if that makes sense.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. And that,
Yeah.
okay. And that's how I would want to be approached as well. I always put myself in the buyer's,
Mm-hmm.
place. And I'm like, okay, I would not want someone to do this to me. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was interesting because we had he's not on the call right now, but we have a newer agent. And he was on the team meeting and he asked a really similar question. He said, Gabe, I don't want to bug people. I don't want people to be annoyed by me. Isn't this too much? And I told him, well, I bet you didn't realize this, but you're actually on week 3 of my 8x8. And he had no idea. He didn't realize that the first time we met, I counted that as 1 touch. He didn't realize that the next week, I think I sent him a WhatsApp message. He didn't realize that the third week, I gave him a call. He was on my 8x8, but he didn't know it. And that's the beauty of the 8x8 is it's spaced out enough to where they remember you, but they don't feel harassed. Love that. Yeah. I mean, honestly, um, I think it's one of those times where people would say, that's not authentic. Um, but I would push back and say, the problem with that is if you try to go by feel, once you hit a certain threshold of people, like let's say you're at 30 people, your feel is going to fail you. You're not going to be able to keep up with everybody. You have to have a system in place so that you can strategically follow up with people consistently. And eventually, once 8 weeks starts passing, and these people all now know who you are, that layers on top of itself, and you'll start to get business from that.
perfect.
Yeah. Let's see, guys. Anything else? What do we have? Do we have any prospecting plans for this weekend, or are we taking the weekend off?
Every time I talk to someone, it's prospecting. I'm going to
There you
basketball
go.
games at the YMCA all day, like all morning tomorrow. So that's all I'm going to be doing.
All right.
I'm like, hi, I'm that kid, the one that's scoring all the goals. I'm his mom, the one that's shooting the hoops. Yes. So what do you do for a living? And so yeah, I gab my way through the Y.
Good. Good, good, good. Let's see, Steven, open house both weekends, both days, very Saturday and Sunday. Very nice. Um,
I'm
so
offended, Stephen. Why wasn't I invited?
um, come through. So something that I would encourage you guys to do is start to get really good at mastering the first 10 seconds of an open house interaction. And what I mean by that is you want to look at, you know what's going to happen. You're sitting in the open house, somebody's going to walk in. Why not practice that scenario over and over and over again? And I'll tell you something. So I used to do open houses all the time. That was kind of like I just enjoyed doing them. And my wife loves to see houses, so she would visit my open houses with a cup of coffee, of course. Now, the rule was if you visit my open house, you have to role play with me at least the first time. So she'd come in and I'd treat her like she was any other buyer and I would master my opening. And it was something, it wasn't something special, but you want to have it down. Hey, my name is Gabe with Keller Williams. Are you out searching for a home or do you live in the neighborhood? Immediately, if you can master that right there, you will get so much more benefit from your open houses. Hey, my name is Gabe with Keller Williams. Welcome. Come on in. Do you live in the neighborhood or are you out searching for a home? That's going to tell me if you're a buyer or a seller. And then, please come in, take a look around. Let me know if you have any questions. And then when they're done with that, depending on what they said, how long have you been looking for a home? So just nail that first interaction. Hey, my name is Gabe with Keller Williams. Welcome. Come on in. Are you a seller, or I'm sorry, are you searching for a home, or do you live in the neighborhood? Master that. Get so good at that that you can say it forward and backwards, because that's gonna just nail. It's gonna set the tone. I've walked into open houses before, and the agent never even looks up. They're on their phone. Immediately, I have no interest in talking to you now. You're not professional. You're not even asking me a question. Or if I walk into an open house and somebody says, "Yeah, come on in," and then they walk away, you've lost all of my respect as a professional, and I don't see you as a professional anymore. But if somebody hits me with the greeting, "Hey, my name is Steven with Keller Williams. Thanks for coming by. Come on in. Do you live in the neighborhood or are you out searching for a home today?" I feel like I've just walked into a professional's open house, and that's going to set the tone. So master that intro, guys. Master that intro. Do we have an intro memorized out of curiosity? Not to put anybody on blast, but do we? Or are we adjusting it every time and playing it by ear?
Stephen's done more than I have, more open houses than I have. So maybe but he plays it by ear. Okay.
Yeah. So again, show me any professional, whether it's an athlete or otherwise, that does not have a plan and execute it. I've been waiting for you. Hey, hey, if that's your go-to and it's working, hey, I've been waiting for you. Where have you been? That's totally fine. But are you getting any information from them? Like, are you finding out right away? Are they a buyer or a seller, or are they just a looky loo? Because if they hit you with the, "Oh, I'm just looking. I'm thinking about in the next 5 years I might do something." Okay, thank you for letting me know that you're not terribly serious. But I would say, guys, master it. Don't fly by the seat of your pants. Not yet. Wait until you've established some good habits. I've seen countless agents just. I walk in with my wife and two kids, like I am the epitome of somebody that is gonna have to move at some point, and they won't even ask me a question. And I'm just thinking, why are you doing this? Why are you sitting in open house for 4 hours of your weekend and you're not even going to try to capitalize on this interaction? For all you know, my wife is pregnant. For all you know, our landlord is selling the house. We had to get out. For all you know, I mean, you don't know anything, and you just wasted it because we'll walk through the house, the kids are loud, and then we'll say bye, and the person, "All right, bye. Thanks for coming by." So that would be my challenge to you guys: is master that intro. Hey, my name is Gabe with Keller Williams. Thanks for coming by. Are you outside shopping for a home, or do you live in the neighborhood? Are you out, and I've heard people say it different ways. Are you out shopping for a home, or are you a nosy neighbor? And that gets a little bit of a laugh, but again, it still gets the same information out. Are you a nosy neighbor? Yeah, we live down the street. We've always kind of wanted to see what this house was like on the inside. Oh, got it. How long have you lived in the neighborhood? Right? So that's the power of a good script, is it opens up all the information that you need. Okay, we'll try your intro. Yeah, I mean, by the way, we have a script book, and it's in that script book. This is not me making up a script. This is as tale as old as time. Super classic script. Thanks for coming by. My name is Gabe with Keller Williams. Come on in. Do you are you out searching for a home, or are you a nosy neighbor? Or are you out searching for a home, or are you a neighbor? Do you live in the neighborhood? And then depending on what they say, your script goes two different ways. But let's master that, guys. Maybe we'll play with that next time. But I do need to get going. We have our staff meeting now. Enjoy your weekend. Steven, enjoy your open houses. Try to nail that intro. That first 5 seconds is going to set the tone for sure.
Thank you so much. This was so helpful.
Good. I'm glad. I'm glad. Okay, guys. Well, let me know if you need anything, of course. So you could always reach me on my phone. And otherwise, have a great weekend.
You too.
All
Bye.
right. See you guys.